I'm Daniel M. Jaffe, author of the satirical novel The Grand Sex Tour Murders, out from Rattling Good Yarns Press. This is the second edition of the novel. The story is about a gay porn producer who takes a group of young men to Europe to have them engage in a sex competition throughout the bathhouses of Central Europe. The producer is going to live stream it on the internet so subscribers can watch and gamble, betting on which young man will have the most sex and thereby win the competition and become the next great porn star. What they don't realize is a serial killer is stalking them and is going to pick off each of the boys one at a time, or so he plans. I'm going to read a short excerpt from an interview with the serial killer after he has committed the murders and been caught. And in this interview, he's talking about his background, how he developed a certain predilection. Permit me to explain. During childhood, I was shuttled from one foster home to another. At age 13, I spent a good year in one such home with a remarkably sexy foster father. He resided in the woods of upstate New York with a voluptuous wife who enjoyed clutching me to her more than ample bosom. Whether from frustrated maternal instinct or pederastical inclination, I cannot say, but her pheromones sparked in me not an iota of lust. He, on the other hand, with his brawny chest and upper arms, full mustache, square jaw, wavy brown hair, underarm hint of faded Old Spice deodorant, and breath frequently smelling of cigars and beer, quickened my pulse with the slightest pat on the shoulder or tussle of my own then curly locks. Yet at the same time, I resented the chores with which he overburdened adolescent me, clearing out poison ivy and other underbrush, pruning branches, destroying rat nests, scraping rat turds off the wooden porch railing, burying poisoned rats, and on, as though I were a slave laborer rather than a child to be bounced upon his lap and cuddled while watching professional wrestling together on television and ogling thick, muscular, sweaty bodies engaged in macho gladiator combat. Subliminally frustrated both by his sexual indifference and imposition of exhausting and revolting physical demands, I felt an ever-growing mix of pent-up desire and resentful rage, not that I could, at age 13, identify my confused psychological state as such. Is it any wonder that one Sunday afternoon the axe Freudian slipped from my hand just at the moment I was swinging it down toward the log he was showing me how to chop, such that my axe severed toes from his foot. As he screamed, "My left foot!" and collapsed, clutching at those severed bloody toes rolling out from his sliced boot, I fled to my room. Of course, I would later assert traumatic regret and shame, but what I actually felt at that moment was intense, inexplicable arousal. In my room behind my shut door, as Mrs. rushed Mr. to the hospital, I repeatedly masturbated feverishly while picturing myself shoving his dismembered, bloody, hairy little piggies into my mouth and rolling them around my tongue, feeling them cool and become clammy as every coppery drop of masculinity drained down my throat as I swallowed that blood, ingested, digested, so that Mr. would become part of me, so that I could carry him within myself always, so that one day I could grow up as big and strong and manly as he. The fantasy shocked me, even as it thrilled me. The shock enhanced the thrill, that in turn enhanced the shock, that in turn intensified the thrill, etc., ad spurtum infinitum. Over time, I repressed these fantasies so successfully that I actually forgot about them. How remarkable the power of the human mind. No wonder my dating life was ever a source of dissatisfaction. No ordinary sexual experience could possibly satisfy, whether I were top, bottom, or somewhere in between. I was forever seeking but never finding, because I would never permit myself to explore the natural predilections I'd so effectively buried beneath consciousness. But then, that fortuitous encounter with the little blonde fellow in the Copenhagen baths. It served as a release of steam from the tightly sealed pressure cooker of my psyche. His death, the clamminess of his skin, the copperiness of his blood, somehow jolted a sense memory within, one connected to my primal adolescent sexuality. His death and the lust it inspired began a gradual resurrection of self. Consequently, throughout my European adventure, I roused not so much from profound libidinous sleep as from self-induced sexual stupor. My true nature increasingly asserted itself, awakened, and so I embraced it, reveling in a Whitman-esque song of myself. I do hope you understand. I'll stop here. Hope it wasn't too much for you. I hope you enjoy the Grand Sex Tour Murders. Thank you.